don't be too sweet or they'll eat you. Shout out to Spiritual Gold because that is a true fact, all right? It is a true fact. And collective, why do I feel like you've learned this about people, right? Because you have this big, loving, energetic heart, and you will literally, you can love on anybody that comes in to your, presence. You can take care of anybody. You nurture them. Like, you have this way about you of making people feel like they're the only one in the world. Like, that's how intoxicating your energy is, collective. Very, very, very attractive and very, very contagious, okay? And so you learned over time that, wait a minute, people were taking your kindness and your sweetness, and they were literally taking advantage of you, and for a long time, collective, you didn't see it because you were too blind. You weren't aware. You were still too asleep. You know what I'm saying? In life. Like, you cared so much about people and wanting to make them happy, right? That you overlooked people's character. You overlooked people's motives and agendas. You didn't care about any of that because you wanted to be liked. You wanted to felt like you belonged, right? Because for so long you felt like you didn't belong. And so you allowed your sweetness to be taken advantage of. And collective, I feel like some of y'all even knew, like, you knew you were being too good to some people, but you were too afraid to walk away, and you still allowed them to overstep your boundaries and still deplete you, collective. And it's okay. It's perfectly okay because we're not perfect. But collective, I feel like you've learned this. You've learned that, wait a minute, I can't be too nice because then people will just keep coming and coming and coming and taking advantage without, if I don't have a boundary, if I don't speak up and stand up for myself, they're going to end me. And you even notice the interactions with certain people, collective. Like, you would notice how a lot of people would keep coming to you for stuff or keep asking you, or like you were always the go-to person, thinking that, oh, you're so special. But then you're seeing how other people are interacting with, said individual, and how they have boundaries, how they say no, how they stand firm, and they're very, they believe in themselves. And you seen that they weren't being bothered. You see that they weren't always being harassed. And so you started to pay attention, and now you started to learn, wait a minute, I got to protect this good energy, because some people, they don't care about me. They just care what I can do for them. So collective, I feel like you wisened up, okay? And you learned boundaries. You learned healthy boundaries. And so I feel like you deal with a lot of people, like you trigger a lot of people, okay? Because a lot of people that are codependent, and once they get a piece of your energy, collective, they get very extremely codependent, almost to the point where they feel entitled to your energy, right? And so you learn that, wait a minute, this is too much. This is a lot. You know what I'm saying? And so, and you felt the pull. You felt people pulling on your energy. And when you found yourself trying to distance yourself and trying to put up boundaries, you found them being even more aggressive, okay? So, you've learned, collective, that you can't be too sweet. You have this nice balance within you now. Sweet and salty, but not salty like, oh, you're bitter at life, but it's like, no, don't play with me. A little bit, you got some sweet to you, and then you also have that dark side of you. You know what I'm saying? And you learned how to blend both of those, and you learned how to coexist within both of those things, right? And this is beautiful because now you can still live a soft life, and you can still be a very soft person on the inside, but your outer shell, your exterior is a little hard. You know, you're protective. You're almost like you know how a fruit is. A fruit, most fruits, the outer shell is hard. Well, a lot of the fruits, the outer shell is hard, and then once you break through inside, it's the sweet and juiciness. You know, and that's how you are now. You know, some people might look at you and think that you're mean or very intimidated, and you have like strong features. So your gaze is very intimidating and piercing and penetrating. So a lot of your features are very dominant, okay? But you've learned how to really, you just learn how over time so that people won't play with you, collective. You know, you're still sweet. You know, you didn't let life bitter you, but it's like people know you're sweet, but at the same time, they know that there's another side of you, and they can't play, they shouldn't play with. Some people will still try to test you, and some people have tested you, collective. You know, they just can't help it. And you'll even find, like, even later on down the road, people will still keep trying to test. You know, it's just human nature. They feel like they want to test you. You know what I'm saying? But they all end up the same. They all end up finding out, you know what I'm saying, that it was a big mistake to test you in that way. You know, because again, collective, you're not somebody out here bothering people. You just want the best for people. So when they come and try to bother you and play with you, that's when you got to activate on them. And nowadays, you are so aware of who you are. It's so hard for people to come around and try to manipulate and play and try to snatch your sweetness away. It's just not going to happen because you're too protective over yourself now, collective. And it's a beautiful thing. Who am I talking to? Because I know I'm not talking to myself. I know I can't be the only one. Let me know down in the comments below if you resonate with this, if this is your experience. You know what I'm saying? I would love to hear from y'all. And if this is your first time here, hit that subscribe button because I want you a part of our tribe, all right? And I thank y'all so much for continuing to support me. I love y'all. We'll talk to y'all later. It's Car. Bye.